Okay, this is a short talk about our Module 2. Many of you have attended our Module 2, so you probably have some idea of what we do in Module 2. Okay, so number one, our definition of enlightenment remains the same. Yeah, the definition remains the same. Now, how do we define enlightenment? That is the state where the one that is able to focusing onto itself. The one that is able to focusing onto itself. Now, what is the one that is able to focus? Our consciousness. Only our consciousness can focus onto anything else. You may say that my eye is looking there, but then without the command of the consciousness, we are not going to pay attention there, or there. We are not going to pay attention to trying to listen whatever that is that we are supposed or not supposed to hear. So the consciousness is the one that is commanding our life activities. When the consciousness is able to focus onto itself, that state is what we call enlightenment. So normally, if we were to generalize this, there are two conditions. One, when we stop the tendency to go outward. What do you mean by the tendency to go outward? Like, let's say I'm listening to somebody else. I'm watching a movie. My attention is outside. What if all of a sudden, all these, they are gone? My attention is out. All of a sudden, all these are gone. Okay, I'm supposed to listen to this. I'm supposed to watch this. I'm supposed to think of this. All of a sudden, all these are gone. So my focus has nothing to focus onto. That means what? That means my focus, my consciousness can only rest on itself. So that's one state. Okay. The other one is when we focus inward. Yeah. So I am not going to bother about outside. I keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into my consciousness. Where were you before the birth of your father? You go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, so this is another avenue, another way to allow the consciousness to focus onto itself. You dig deeper and deeper and deeper into your consciousness. Eventually, it is going to reach itself. And at that state, what happens? At that state of enlightenment, what happens? Everything is one, not zero, one. Zero is nothing. One is even. Everything is even. And that's what we call wholeness. Okay? So at that wholeness state, all are equal. There, here, or here, they are the same. I'm very sure many of you have experienced that. That you do your push-pull, when you lift up your arms, you give a command, pop, the arms went up. That is wholeness. When the mind, the command from the mind, and the arms that's supposed to move, they become one. When you're not able to differentiate between the arms and command, the movement of the arms and the command, the two of them become one. That is wholeness. So, okay, I now have a little bit of idea of what is wholeness. What is so good about it? What is so good about it? Anyone who has any idea about this? What is so good about this? When we talk about enlightenment or the state of enlightenment or the state of wholeness. See, previously we have been saying that module one is about the management of emotions. And we say all dynamic practices are meant for the management of emotions. Why? Because the practices, they allow us to become more and more aware of ourselves, become more and more aware of the key condition of ourselves. That means the emotional state, the state of consciousness of ourselves. We say that's module one. And module two, we said module two is beyond the management of emotions. And we said all dynamic practices are meant for the cultivation of consciousness. Cultivate consciousness towards what? Towards enlightenment. Okay, so that's the way that we define enlightenment, and that's the way that we look at it. Now, when you are able to reach wholeness, and the more and more you can get at the stage of wholeness, you would understand that the effort to manage the emotions will get better and better and better. The more we are able to stay in wholeness, the more we will be emotionally stable. That's the most important part of this so-called enlightenment. At the state of enlightenment, we treat all as equal. Our response to the outside world is what we call consciously intuitive or conscious intuitive. Now, it is difficult to explain that. You have to, what we call, to experience it. You have to experience what is conscious intuitiveness. Okay, and that's the reason why we are going to practice. We have to practice, and that's the reason why we say all dynamic practices are meant for the cultivation of consciousness. So what are we going to practice? I have mentioned earlier that module one this year, the practice will be the same as module two previously. So what about this coming class of module two? What are we going to practice? Yes, we are basically going to practice almost the same thing as in module one. But there will be two changes. Number one, how command is given. It will be changed slightly. I have experimented this and I found that this is going to work well. Number two is what we call the use of breath to mobilize qi. Again, I've been experimenting with this, and I found that, yes, this is going to work very well. Yeah, I did not introduce it in Module 1 because I found that many may find this a little bit challenging, not really challenging, or maybe they find it confusing. Yeah. Anyway, the Module 1 added with weights has proven to be a very, very useful tool. Friends who were underweight gain weight and build muscles. Many friends reported that they feel there is more energetic, uh, ener energetic is one thing. Also, physically much stronger. Many friends said that previously, you don't have any health problem, you don't have any problem, but you're so used to that level of activities. You know that you cannot carry anything 5 or 6 kilo for some distance. But now with this, with weights and all this, you find that the physical strength has improved tremendously. And one very, very important thing, the emotions are getting very, very stable, much stable than before. And we're talking about some friends who have just started using weights for the past 3 months. So what we had introduced, I hope that you carry on with this using weights. But I'm quite sure many of you said that, no, there's no way to go back. Going back to the practice without weights will be boring. So using weights, yeah, will continue. But we will make a slight tweak also. Okay. And number 2, the theory. And this year we are going to be very straightforward when it comes to the theory. We want you to experience the theory. Yeah. So there will be, but M2, something like there will be, you need to have lectures in M2, plenty of lectures. Unlike M1, M2, we will introduce the practice in a slightly different manner. It will be, the aim is for you to recognize wholeness, recognize intuitiveness, and then conscious intuitiveness. Okay? Wholeness, intuitiveness, conscious intuitiveness. Yeah. So the practice will be more on that aspect. Of course, you want to build wholeness, you need to build your internal energy to a certain extent. So, well, a big portion of the practice will, will remain the same as what we did in Module 1. Yeah. The theory we are going to rely on is going to be based on 2 main school of thoughts. Number 1, the classic. Okay. But this time we're going in a deeper manner. All right. The stages, when come to the consciousness, the stages that that has been revealed by Tao Te Ching. Number 2, the heart study. Right. The heart study, I'm not going to follow what is commonly available in the market, where they talk a lot about Confucianism. We are going to introduce the heart study from the perspective of Tao Te Ching, from Tao Te Classic. Okay. And again, we are going to introduce the various avenues. We're going to analyze the various avenues in recent history, how people reached the enlightenment, the state of enlightenment. Okay, so let me know if you have any question. Yeah. Some friends ask, why you start so soon? I said, well, previously we have a break of a month, but this time we have so long, there's many lessons for this module 1. So might as well make it closer. You have any question? Do you have any question? If you have any question, you can ask, use the chat, or you unmute yourself. Hmm? Nope. If you have no question, this is a short talk, and a short talk has to be short.
The first 2 lessons will be practice.
Yes, because the practice, it is not only about practice, but telling you how to approach practice so that we can recognize wholeness in a much better manner.
Well, thank you. Can't wait.
Any more? Hard study. When you talk about hard study, do you refer to one of the last books of Dr. Pang? One of the last books of Dr. Pang is about hard study, but there are certain, that book is too thick. I find that it's too thick because that one is actually a history of the development of hard study instead of hard study. Yeah, the history and the development of hard study, or the Confucianism. So I find that too thick. Hard study, there are several grandmasters who contributed a lot to hard study. Yeah, like Confucius is one. I always say that Confucius did not really contributed much to hard study, except that he said that you work this way, because Confucius only reached enlightenment at the age of 70. He died at the age of 72. Yeah. And then subsequent to him, there's this guy who is Mengzi. Mengzi, he was quite close to enlightenment. I do not think he also, from his writings, I think he was very close to it, but he did not reach that yet. But he has the understanding that this is the way. Yeah. And then there will be many people, several of them, Ming Dynasty, and then came the one that I believe the most important person, Wang Yangming. Wang Yangming is the most important person because he made many things simple. And I find it a little bit funny because whatever that he said is very close to what Lao Tzu said in Tao Te Ching, but he is quoting from Confucianism. So it's a little bit confusing. Yeah, the missing part in Tao Te Ching, or the teachings by Lao Tzu, is that what are you supposed to practice? He did not say. He did not say anything like, what are you supposed to practice? In Wang Yangming's hard study, it is about a form of meditation. Yeah, you watch your breath, that kind of a meditation. There's a form of practice, but not in Tao Te Ching, not in Lao Tzu. And the book by Dr. Pang is very thick, and it's more of the development and the history. Okay? Any more? No more question. Good. Then we meet next week. Okay. Bye bye then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.